Hello and welcome to the Quantum Creator Summit Series 9. I'm Helena Reilly and I will be your host. And today we're talking with a very, very special guest who will be sharing her insight into the quantum field of creation. Anna Kowalska is an exceptional guide and mentor. She guides spiritual women entrepreneurs, like many of you listening, to create their sacred success. So she's teaching to align with divine purpose and prosperity so that you experience fulfillment, which is key. And the details what's interesting about her story is that she did have this worldly success that just kept on disappearing, because I am guessing it wasn't her true purpose, which we'll be exploring today. Welcome, Anna. It's wonderful.
Thank you, Helena. So great to be here with you.
Yes, you're in such a good frequency today. I can feel that in every cell of my being. So we were talking about the portals, the prevalence of portals on planet Earth today. And we were just talking pre-interview, and one of the things that I am aware of is that the portal and the creation power exists every second and every moment of your life. How do you feel about that?
I agree with that, Helena. So right before you hit the record button, we had such a juicy, fun conversation, right?
I want to go back there.
Yes.
Stay in the fun. No more formality. Yes.
Yes.
Fun with these various elusive concepts.
Yes. And fun, when we have fun, actually, we are more receptive to whatever it is that we are learning. So it's a perfect place to be.
Exactly. Joy is the frequency that you want to seek, right? In
Absolutely.
Your portal, whenever it's opening.
So let's bring our audience into this conversation. So we were just saying, right? We were just saying that on the day when we're recording today is 10/10. And I recently learned that it's a portal. It wasn't last year, but it is this year.
Someone decided. Must have been.
Yeah, someone decided. Must be a special day. And I started to laugh at it that, I grew up in a very superstitious background where you don't walk under the ladders. You see a black cat, you turn around, it's a bad luck. And this is a special day, but that's not a special day. And it's this whole idea, right? And we laughed at it because it is hysterical. It's like, okay, 10/10 is a portal now. Great.
And we might be missing out on it because we didn't know that yesterday. Right?
What else are we missing out on, right?
Probably a lot of subtle signs, I would guess.
Probably.
Right?
Yes. So I will speak to how I use those beautiful moments that we decide that they mean something. But in the end, every single moment is a moment that is absolutely open for us to create in a quantum field. The quantum doesn't know that it's 10/10, right? It responds to our energy, to how the space we are in and what we are desiring to create. And it doesn't mean that on 10/10 we have a better luck in creating it. So, right?
Absolutely. It sounds juicy, but it's more about your frequency and your alignment.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I do like to use that energy because, what if it is something? What if somewhere in, stellar alignment, there is like an extra spark? I am going to use that energy and I'm going to actually affirm, because that raises my frequency. If I affirm today is the day that everything is bigger for me, right? Like I'm going to create something great today because it's 10/10. Awesome. Why not use it to raise my frequency, boost my feeling good, right?
Yes. Boost your endorphins and feeling good. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I will use it that way, but I will not go into despair if I go to sleep and nothing magical happens. Tomorrow is 10/11. I will not wake up thinking that's it, right? The year is over. I'm done. No.
we missed the moment. Anna and I, we both missed that moment. This was a big problem.
Yes.
And it's great to have a sense of humor about it because it is all about beliefs, but we've been so inundated with false ones. So how do we make this moment one of alignment and pure prosperity, pleasure, creation, quantum creation? That's the question. So when we see it's 10:10 and maybe it's a portal, maybe it isn't, how do we make this moment in time a joyful one?
Yeah, it's a great question, Helena, right? And we all ask ourselves, we all want to be, and I know that's true for everybody who's listening, you wouldn't be here. We all want to create as much as we possibly can with every moment given to us, right? Every moment. I mean, even when I was thinking about it the other day. When I am sitting on my couch and perceivably doing nothing, right? Like maybe just staring, I'm giving myself to do that lately, like a lot. Just stare into space, right?
Oh, yes. You and many of the other speakers. We are in the quantum field together.
Yes.
In silence, right? Yes.
And I won't call it meditation. I will just sit there with my eyes open and stare. There's a beautiful tree outside my window, and I'll just look how it moves with the wind. And I won't say it a wasted moment, right? I won't say I'm doing nothing. I am communicating in that moment with the quantum field. There is something that I get to hear and be present to. There is something that I get to also contribute in that moment to the quantum field. So it works both ways, right? And in that moment, even if nothing magical happens, no client signs up, no money lands in my bank, in that moment.
It's in the vortex, but not in the moment. Yes.
I won't call it a wasted moment, right?
Profound. Absolutely. Actually, the silence can be where you create profoundly by tuning into the moment and tuning into your heart and finding what it is you want to create.
Yes. Let's talk about that because you and I touched upon it right before.
Yes, we had the yes. What is it? And in those moments, so I do want to point out that that was a big falsehood that we got taught, that being silent and quiet and not doing anything, we were wasting time.
Yeah.
We sort of learned that in school, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But aren't you doing your homework? Aren't you behind in math? I'm always behind in math, this one. She'll always be. So, but the thing is that how do you find what you choose to create that will bring you the feeling that it is that you're needing or desiring? Because the other big mistake is to think it's something in the physical realm.
Right.
Something in the physical realm might or might not create that feeling. How do we align ourselves?
Can I tell you a story? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I love stories.
This is my brand new fountain pen. Okay. Do you like fountain pens?
Love them.
Oh my gosh. When I was a little girl, I loved fountain pens. And
pens, famous for stealing them. I mean, unconsciously. Go ahead.
Better hide this one.
Oh, no. I don't mean like you walk into the bank and you walk out with the pen. Not a fancy one. Not a fancy pen.
So I loved fountain pens. And, I journal a lot. We all write a lot. We love to, take notes of our awarenesses and journal, dive deeper into. I practice morning pages, which is a beautiful practice to open to creative space, beautiful practice to note of the things that are in the morning showing up in our awareness that we usually just kind of skip over on the way to the bathroom. So
yes,
I used to love fountain pens as a little girl. We had to write with fountain pens. I grew up in Poland. We had to write with fountain pens. It gives you a special way to learn beautiful handwriting. And then I came to America and ball pens. And, I have a lot of ball pens. A couple of years ago, actually it was, let's say 5 years ago, for the sake of a story, I went to this beautiful store in Boulder, Colorado, where I lived at a time. I'm in Denver now, but I lived in Boulder. They have this beautiful store with papers, wrapping papers, everything that you can imagine to make pretty things and to write with and to make books and stamps. I think it's called papyri, something like that. And I saw a whole entire case of pens, of fountain pens. I literally saw from here to like at least 6 feet. I saw that case and I turned right away and I told myself the story that for some reason I couldn't have a fountain pen. I don't even want to look. I don't know why. I'm not worthy. They're expensive. I don't know what I told myself. And for 5 years, it was about 5 years or so, I've been on the back of my mind, I've had this yearning to have a fountain pen.
Interesting.
But I didn't do anything about it. 2 weeks ago, I just followed my intuition. I had a glorious day at the farmer's market in Boulder. Have you been there, Helena?
Yes, I have. That. Yeah, Boulder is awesome. Yeah. Farmer's market. Yeah, is abundant.
Very abundant. So I had a beautiful early afternoon in Boulder. And I said, you know what? I want to walk around on Pearl Street. I haven't been there in like 6 months or so. Yeah. So let me just walk around Pearl Street. And I ended up in a store with with fountain pens. And I said, that's it, I'm getting one. And I had the most amazing time getting this fountain pen. The people in the store, and I'll tell you why I shared in a moment, just follow along with me. The people in the store were amazing. I told them, I said, I haven't written with a fountain pen in a long time. I'm looking to get one. First, I actually lied and I said it's a gift because I was so ashamed.
You were guilty for investing in yourself.
Seriously, I'm like, I'm looking for a gift for a fountain pen. And they were delightful in leading me in how to choose a fountain pen. Finally, we picked this one. You know what? It's not even that expensive. Literally, I paid, I think it was like $39 for this fountain pen. It is very sturdy. I love writing with it. With it, we also chose this amazing French, red and gold ink, and then a Pearl Noir, another French beautiful ink. Came home, I put it in a beautiful handmade plate, and I never write with anything for the last 2 weeks other than my fountain pen. I felt I think it was $65 with my inks and my pen. I had them wrap it up in one of those because they have a beautiful complimentary wrapping. I walked out of that store feeling richer than when I had millions sitting in my bank account.
Yes.
I walked into a coffee shop next door and I had a hot beverage. It started to rain. It didn't matter. I was enjoying this feeling, this amazing joy that this woman allowed herself to have with this fountain pen. And I wanted to share this story because we have these stories about what we cannot have because of what somebody told us, what we've experienced for centuries. We lived in an environment of practicality. Ask only for what you need, right? If you have something, then somebody else doesn't have. We know all those stories, right?
Yes.
We have moved away or never even had an opportunity to be with the innocence of allowing yourself to have this silly fountain pen that will make you feel like the best creator and the biggest. Do you know how much joy this brings me every day? And the things that have been created because I am in the field of joy every time I write with this pen.
Oh, that is a great metaphor. And also I'm sort of getting that, in some of the ancient cultures, they'd take an infant, especially in the royalty, and they would put a rose, a pen, and I forget what the third thing was. And if they chose a rose, it meant that they were more like a saint, like a spiritual path. If they chose a pen, it meant an author, a writer, a teacher. And then there was a third one. I forget what it was, but they would be like a politician and I don't remember the symbol, but that's really interesting too, because a fountain pen has a fluidity in that you're putting the liquid ink in. And the point though, is that these small things that we suppress could be huge.
And it opens up all of a sudden with this. What I opened up is this woman can have whatever she wants. And it doesn't have to be a big ticket item. I mean, there were fountain pens that were like $500 there. And I don't like this pen. 3 people walked in from the inside of the store, the employees, and said, "Oh my gosh, these pens are amazing. They're very sturdy. They're durable. They are heavy, so they feel heavy." And it's great from $500, maybe one, because I love it so much. I will next time go and buy the other one, but it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. It's the feeling that it created for me. I'm like, how many times have I been in that area and I didn't allow myself to get this pen? So it's when this new space we are in is really questioning all the things that we have allowed ourselves to create or not. So I mentioned to you this whole idea of standards that I'm teaching in my work.
Mm-hmm.
So I teach about purpose and lining up to exactly who you were born to be. And you get to choose what it looks like, but there is a frequency, there is a tangibility to what your soul has chosen to express, especially at this time. And within that, we still get to ask, what is the season of my life? What is the time in my life? What am I creating? Not because I see what's working for somebody else, not because I see somebody making 10 million with their offer. I should offer the same thing. It won't work for you.
No, it won't work for you. It's not your, yes.
It's not your path. It's not yours to create. There is something unique, but there is also something unique you get to have as an experience of life. Maybe it's delicious food. Maybe it's walk in a park. It doesn't have to always be something you buy, right? I love having my matcha tea lately, and I found an amazing matcha tea distributor that brings it straight from Japan. And I put a little cinnamon on my matcha tea, and it's like, don't even offer me Starbucks matcha tea because it's ridiculous.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
But it's allowing ourselves to say yes, to create whatever it is. So speaking of quantum field, right? Quantum field responds to us, to whatever it is that we are in the frequency of desiring. It is happening faster. So if I desire something that is out of lack and scarcity and fear and survival, then I'm creating exactly what I'm asking for.
Exactly. It will mirror and it's faster.
Yes.
So, and would you say that you've discovered with yourself and your clients that this alignment, and it could be something as small as a pen or, and that is very significant because your purpose is to be a writer and to be a teacher. So it's a really important alignment, right? Yeah. But would you say, so what we're all finding is that because of this speeding up, the acceleration, that first of all, when you have the fear, you don't really have access to the true potential of the quantum field. It's like the door slams.
Yeah.
But the essence, right? So that our essence, we have to clear our essence of the falsehood that we are not worthy. I think that's the issue behind even something as important as the pen we're writing with. And even in ancient cultures, they understood the pen was really important. They understood that was a ritual in the older times. Signing something was a huge thing. Yeah. So would you say that since you've become more aligned, and you teach people to do this as well, with your inner being, who you truly are, that your manifestations have sped up and your awareness of what's blocking them? Because obviously your buying pen was a huge leap. You allowed yourself to have it. I think next time for Christmas, you must allow yourself to have one more pen.
Yes. Yes.
Just for fun.
Yes.
I'll go with you to the store.
Perfect. So much fun.
Yeah. Pens are amazing. So would you say that that this has accelerated your connection to the quantum field, these little baby steps that we take?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, Helena. And I think that's why I shared that story that way, because it doesn't have to be this big a leap or something great that we create. Right? Yes. It could be a fountain pen and 2 bottles of ink that I cannot wait to finish the black one so I can refill it with the one that has burgundy and gold in it.
I love that.
Right? It's this returning, and I feel like a little girl that's excited about something, this inner part of me that's excited about something. And now anything I create from the space is only going to be faster, juicier. And that's because energy is quickening, right? So when I create from this place, so fear, absolutely fear. And, walk this one gently, because sometimes people think that they have to wait for the fear to pass before they can create something. But exactly, I already see you. You're not.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good point.
No, let the fear be there, but know that it's there and say, okay, got it. This is something I'm programmed to be afraid of. This is something that maybe this is a place I haven't been before. This is a place that maybe is unfamiliar. So my system tells me be scared because we don't know what's going to happen. So be scared. But it doesn't mean that you have to listen to it at the same time as the fear is there. And I've played with this, right? I will raise the volume on excitement for what's coming, right? So even when I say we are creating in a quantum field with limitless possibilities, doesn't it open you up right now? Limitless possibilities, which means when I'm in fear and I choose to look from fear, scarcity, limitation, I will see one, maybe two solutions based on my programming, based on what I know could work, based on what I know somebody else made work, right? Now, when I opened up to a quantum field of creation, and in that moment, I say, I'm scared, but I'm open to this field of limitless possibility. And I'm open to whatever is going to be shown to me as a next step in my creation. In that moment, something drops. It drops in for me. It could be an idea. It could be a name. It could be go for a walk. It could be anything. And I will follow it. And all of a sudden, right? Like I've been playing intentionally for the last 3 months, very much in my business. So we learn, create this kind of a funnel, create this kind of an offering. Now I've learned this for many, many years. So I have a base of that. I'm not just creating on a whimsy, right? It's based on something. But at the same time, I am listening to create this new thing that I'm offering, which is the overflow. And it's about being in a field of money creation from the overflow.
Abundance. Yes.
Yeah. But it's like, there is something really magical when we start saying overflow means more than enough, means way more than what I planned for.
I like that. Yeah.
Overflowing, because it's already there. You're absolutely right, right? Like when we say abundance, it's still, it has a context of something, for me at least. But when I say the overflow, it literally is spilling over the cup that I have set aside for it. It's spilling over, right? So now that's,
I love that.
Spilling over.
Yes, it's my cup runneth over.
Yeah.
I shall not want. No, it's the over, not to, no, that's a beautiful, beautiful way to say it, that it implies fulfillment to me, actually. Yeah. You're so fulfilled. You're filled up. You're overflowing.
Overflowing. Right.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful. And that's an extraordinary and very subtle distinction, the overflow. And well done. That's because also abundance has been overused. Right. We just don't want to use the words money. So abundance, like, okay, we've heard that a million times.
Exactly.
It loses its potency when it becomes trite or, too formulaic almost. And so I love that though. And so when you feel that, and I just want to unpack one thing that you said. I've seen that the fear is excitement sometimes. It's just that in many ways, I feel as though we were taught to repress the excitement when we were children. When we would get excited about something, it was often shut down or shut off.
Absolutely.
And so it became, so the excitement wasn't properly channeled. And then now we interpret it as fear, but it could just be enthusiasm, excitement, like pleasure even. It could be looking forward to something, but you just don't even. So it's fear can be channeled into the creation.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's venturing into the unknown where we were programmed to be afraid of that. Right. So this excitement. So this just dropped in for me, Helena, right? Like to build on what you just shared, right? As children, we love adventure. We love to of
course,
imagination.
Pens if we could.
Exactly. Absolutely. And have little fairy wings on them. I think I need fairy wings or something on my pen. Well, we are told to stay within the space, stay with the familiar, stay within the lines, right? So you're absolutely right. Maybe this excitement that was there now is turned into fear. Same thing, right?
Yes.
It turned into fear. Oh, I should be afraid of that. Okay, so maybe what I feel is actually fear, not excitement. Absolutely could be, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it could also be new neuronal pathways opening up and there could be a fight flight kind of response because it is an exciting opening. And then I will unpack that too, because we were trained to stay in our comfort zone, and the brain, the primitive brain, is totally trained to keep you safe.
Yeah.
And here's the caveat. Do you feel on the new earth, in the new way, none of those things are going to work? That, the primitive brain won't work, the apply yourself and self-discipline and the hard work. And does it feel to you that those things are just no longer working on any energetic level?
Okay. So yes. And I'm going to make one caveat.
Okay, good.
Because I'm playing with the discipline, right? So yes.
Me too.
Okay, good.
That's why I'm asking you, because I'm playing with that too. Like, we both probably work a lot, right?
Yes.
So we're looking at it from the point of view of, here are two female, people that own businesses. How do we shift into alignment and create even greater results?
Yeah. So I think it goes back to finding our own rhythm. What is my rhythm right now? What is my rhythm right now? So I like discipline, because discipline keeps me focused on what I'm creating. I keep my mind disciplined on thinking in the way that I need to think. So my mind is on board with me creating from the quantum field of unknown.
Yes.
Right? I love a discipline of waking up in the morning at a certain time and having certain things that I come into immediately. So my mind doesn't get stolen by whatever is happening around me, whatever drops in from the field, from the environment, meaning because fear exists. There are things happening in the world and they will intensify. There has to be chaos for a new creation. So we don't want to be ignorant about it, but I am disciplined in focusing my energy. I am disciplined in focusing my mind. I am disciplined in focusing my attention. And it may look like something in a day, right? I don't just haphazardly say, oh, today I'm just gonna walk in the woods for a whole day. And sometimes it does happen, right? When I sit down, I'm like, nothing is coming through today. Nothing.
Right? I find that hard to believe for you, but okay.
It does happen. I know, right? But thank you. I take it as a compliment. But it does happen.
Compliment. Yes. You're in a creative vortex, but I do understand what you're saying, that sometimes maybe the intensity is not as strong for you in that moment. And that's important for people to understand.
Yes.
There can be a pause. You've put a lot in your plate, a lot in your vortex, a lot in the quantum field that's already there. But there can be a pause for you to integrate.
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean it's not manifesting.
Exactly. That's a beautiful, beautiful aspect of it. So when I walk in the woods, again, I don't say, like Friday, I took a day to hike. It was really terrible. Well, terrible. It was a very oppressive weather. The clouds were really low in Denver on Friday, but I already had my desire set on taking a hike. Halfway through the day, it was really cold too. I said, you know what? We'll go. I'll take my dog. We'll go anyway. And just walking in, I didn't even go deep into the woods or mountains to hike. It was just one of the local front range hikes. 2 hours in a mystical air. I came back renewed and refreshed. I didn't call it a waste because, first of all, I was renewed, refreshed. But while I was walking in the woods, there were things happening in the field that I set in motion, right?
Yeah.
There are things happening in the field because I set them in motion by my desire, by my intention, and by my action. I sent out an email with an invitation earlier that day, right? we're working on our next salon, which, by the way, we'll speak about it because I'd love to have you. We are, that is in motion. There are guests coming in for that. So there are things that are happening in a field when I pause, whatever that looks like for me. And in that moment when I pause, it may be the most potent time when the energy has a chance to drop into my physical experience. So when I come back, I have an email sitting in my inbox of somebody who wants to work with me.
I love
right?
That. Yes, you in that moment of quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You were drawing to you.
Yeah.
All that your is in your creation, actually, is in your potential in the field. And I think one of the things that happens is we get this sense of impatience.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
yes.
We feel as though, and things are moving fast, but not always in the third dimension is still the third dimension.
Yeah.
So it still moves in a certain way, a certain pragmatic way. And I think it seems to me that as I read your energy, you're very attuned to the quantum field of potential. So you're creating there, but then is it true that you then get frustrated because the manifestation, though nearly instant, isn't instant enough?
Yes.
There's a delay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what everybody needs to understand. There can be a delay.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's a readjustment. Have you found that means you have to readjust, or
Nope.
have you found you just need to pause?
Something beautiful about divine timing that I am learning, and somebody gave it to me, and I'm like, oh, this is such a beautiful way. And I'm turning it around for myself. Like I'm looking at it from different directions to see how do I play with it where it really works for me. So there is this conversation of divine timing, and very often we tend to use it to give ourselves an excuse to change direction, to change our vision. It's not working. It's not divine. It's not the right time, right? So I'm going to sit this one out. An opportunity shows up, and it may be the perfect alignment, but something about it you are afraid of, or maybe you'll have to work through something challenging, a belief, a characteristic that you've been so attached that no longer serves you. It presents a challenge, an opportunity to expand, but you'll say, oh, it's not the right time. I'm waiting for a better divine timing. And I've heard that used so often. Then I've heard the opposite. There is no such thing as divine timing. There is no time to begin with. But this is a beautiful, and hopefully I can lend it in a way that I'm playing with it right now. There is a divine timing. We have zero control over it. There is an order in universe.
Yes. That's very true.
Right? But
Yes.
I'm going to give you an example. Again, this is actually not a real story, but it's a story because I love stories. Let's say you send out a letter to your beloved who lives on the other side of the country, like United States. So it's a really big country. And it's before cell phones at all, before even a telegram. It's a letter you put in the mail, and a little guy gets on a donkey and travels across the country to deliver it. And your beloved.
Yes.
Yeah. So
taking a couple of months in those times, yeah.
Right? Your beloved lives on the other side of the country, and you are in love. He just left seeking better future for the both of you, and you are in love, and you are creating a future. But then he gets on a donkey, he moves there, and you send him a letter, and he asks you to marry him, and he says, yes, I would love to marry you when you're ready. Please tell me, and we'll get married. And no, you play. No, I'm not going. I'm going to wait because I'm proper, whatever it is. And he goes off, and then you send him a letter, and you're like, I love you, I miss you. Yes, I'll marry you. And then the little guy gets on a donkey, and the letter gets there 2 months later. 2 months go by, and you're like, that's it. He doesn't love me. He doesn't remember me. Forget about him. You go off and you settle for something different, or maybe somebody different, right? Let's say it's a different person, but it's same thing happens with our desires, right? We're like, oh, that's it. It's not happening. Forget it. The evidence in my bank account doesn't show that it's working. Forget about it. I'm going to go do something completely different. Meanwhile, the letter finally gets to the other side of the country, and your beloved is thrilled. He is on fire about this love that he's finally found, and he's saving up money to travel back to give you the ring of your dreams, drop down on a knee, and propose to you. And it's been another 2 months. He gets on a donkey. It's going to take him 2 months, right? all of that is happening. You have no idea because you don't have a social media profile to check what's going on with him, right?
You don't even know if he's alive at this point. Yes.
So you make up all these stories. You moved on maybe onto 3 different people. Meanwhile, you completely became somebody that you're not because you've been, depressed and upset and hurt and whatever you make up. And one day when you are at your worst, you have rollers in your hair, you just woke up, creases on your face, there is a knock on a door, and your beloved shows up with the biggest bouquet of roses, your dream ring, and fully open heart to just give you everything you ever asked for. And what do? Where have you been? This is not the right time. Oh, this is no longer what I want. You've betrayed me, because that's what we do, right?
Absolutely. We resist and shut down. And we resist. We are not receptive to the moment in time. And then what happens?
And then what happens? He gets hurt. He walks away, right? And you be righteous about, he didn't love you or whatever happened. You're righteous about it. You move on and don't create what it is you wanted. Now, this beloved is a representation of a desire that you set out into the universe. And while universe is putting things in place, there is a divine timing, there is order. Are you ready to receive it? No, maybe there is something you need to learn. Maybe there is something you need to let go of. Maybe there is something you get to expand in your life to receive the dream and desire you've been asking for that isn't in a complete alignment. But while it's happening, we are making up stories that it's not the right time, so it must be the wrong thing. And I don't want to learn all those difficult things, so forget about it. It's taking too long. I'm going to change my mind. And then universe delivers to you the dream that you've been wanting at its divine timing because you are finally aligned. But now you're not ready. You're not prepared. You haven't taken the steps. You haven't been in the expectation space of, if this is what I truly want, I expect it. Now imagine if every single day since you sent out the letter, you lived your life as if your beloved loves you, as if your beloved is any minute now showing up with the bouquet of roses and dream ring and everything you ever asked for. And when he shows up, you are radiant in love, expecting. You have created all these beautiful things in your life to receive him into it, so he can be now part of it, delivering his part. How much different would it be when he opened the door and you are in this space of expectation because you always knew it was going to happen, and he shows up and you're ready and you embrace and you love and you create, from then on, right? How much different is that?
That's a different lifetime, one of misery versus one of joy.
Yes.
And humanity has been pretty famous for not being receptive to what they're asking for. So, and this is a really key point. Do you feel as though one of the major things we're working through, and I love that story because I think now people do it with texting, and it's kind of more like, oh my God, he didn't text me for 5 minutes.
Yep.
Text right away. He must not be the right. Got to break up with him next. So I think now it's all sped up so fast that we can create even more chaos, actually. Yep. But I think what you're talking about too is that, again, do we feel we deserve it? Do we feel first of all, we created it. We completely deny that. We disconnect from the creation. But have you seen that it is mostly people not really realizing that they're as powerful as they are? So they create it. Now they need to receive it. Mm-hmm. Isn't the issue behind that deserving and maybe some false beliefs about everything? About love, about yourself, about the culture, about, because if we contrast that with texting now, we are just so impatient. Yeah. But isn't it about our worthiness? And that is a key to the quantum creator.
Yeah.
Since it's infinite. So, there's trillions of dollars in the quantum potential field. Yep. There's no limit.
No limit.
It's more a matter of our worthiness and willing to receive.
Yeah.
Unconditionally, like just receive it.
Yeah, I just led a really powerful masterclass 2 weeks ago. The standard of receiving. The standard of receiving. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
brilliant. That's brilliant. Yep. What is your standard of receiving?
Yeah.
Anna, tell me, how do you define the standard of receiving?
Great question, Helena.
We're good at this. We're good at this game. Yeah, because that's a great thing. What is my standard of receiving? I have no idea. Actually, I just asked myself the question and I got the answer immediately. You have no idea what your standard of receiving is.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what it is for most of us. It is whatever we've been programmed with.
Yeah. What our parents taught us in most cases.
Exactly. So at the simple level, we were denied what we asked for. There are finer, subtle ways in which we picked up somebody's hurt or pain if we got something, right? Or if we received something, or if we asked for something they couldn't give us. There was a pain that they couldn't give it to us, whatever it was. And we didn't know it, they didn't say it, but at some level we learned then it's not okay for us to even ask, so we don't allow ourselves to receive. And then there is this whole other layer of what will happen when I do receive this? Will I feel guilt and shame? Will I hurt somebody because I receive it? That literally happens. So what I do is I lead in that particular workshop. We went through a whole process of putting ourselves in the creation as if it's happening, and then asking, what will I feel that I am not aware that I will feel, that I am afraid, so I do not allow myself to receive it. So it's not even a form of deservability, but guilt and shame is absolutely, I don't deserve it. And when I get it, I will feel guilt and shame of having it, right?
Oh.
So because I don't want to, I will not even allow myself to receive. I will stay in a place of universe doesn't want to give me. There is something wrong with me because universe doesn't want to give me. No, universe does. It cannot not give you. It only responds to your desire.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So absolutely. The reason why we don't receive is because we are not feeling like we're worthy, not wanting to deal with whatever is going to come as a result of us receiving. Perfect example of that too. I'm not even a relationship coach, so I don't know why I use these stories, but here we go. When you learn how to receive love in exchange for something else. So if you behave, I will love you. If you
conditional. If you behave the way I want you to behave, yes.
I will love you, right?
And if you don't, yes. Ooh.
If you stay quiet, I will love you. So we learn to give to get, right? We learn give to get. So we on some level, we actually believe that if we receive this, we will owe something to somebody. And we don't even know what that is. We don't know what that thing will owe is. I know it's until we get tangible, it's really hard to understand. I worked with it for a long time because I learned about give and get, give to get, right? Give to get is creating a business to get clients versus creating a business that is a desire of your soul, that is a birthing of your soul's work into the world, knowing that it's going to serve, and now allowing yourself to receive through all the people that are meant to work with you, the monetary pay. Very different than I got to create a business to get clients so they can pay me because I need the money, right?
Right. Yes. And like, yes. And one will bring you fulfillment and the other will not. Yes. Let me guess. Yes. And here's the thing. I think that is the part of our consciousness that is really shifting, because as we shift out of scarcity mindset, we realize it's our creation.
Yeah.
And that the quantum field is infinite and abundant and full of potential. But this is where I feel, and I don't know if you feel this way too, that I think there's a confusion around this right now, because it's almost as though we just flipped the paradigm. So that at least amongst perhaps some of the thought leaders, that's what we've realized is that there's really actually nothing but our ability to fulfill our purpose in exchange with the universe. And so how do we make that shift out of the consciousness give to get to I'm now aligning with my purpose so that I can create something that is fulfilling for all of us, actually, that moves the needle, that pushes us forward. How do we make that shift?
Yeah. I wish I had a really answer that just shifts everybody in the moment.
Yeah, me too. I was just thinking about like, what could we say to get that to change?
Yeah. But I'll tell you what works for me. It's a constant immersion in the truths that are aligned with the quantum field creation. The truths that there is only energy and energy always expands, that I am one with God, I am divinity, I am the sole creator of my life, and there isn't some authority over me. I am just fulfilling what
I love that. Ooh,
right?
Yes, you nailed it. You did give the answer. It's alignment with the higher truth.
Yes, but then living it every day, because you know what happens very often is we say it, we may even write it with our beautiful pen.
With the new coloring. Yes.
That's right. We may chant it. I know, we may chant it, we may dance to it, but then guess what happens? We face a challenge of growth, an opportunity to expand into something we've never been before. Somebody offers you to work with them, and they tell you how much it is, and you're like, you are no longer in a field of creation. You are no longer seeing yourself as an authority on your life and deciding from that place. You are looking at what's in my bank, right? So it really, and I'm using money because I think it's the most powerful way to illustrate that. But
people are concerned about money right now too.
Yeah, and honestly, it's the worst thing we could do. I'm not saying spend what you don't have. I'm not saying go broke, and I could talk about that for hours with you too, Helena, but there is a different way of creation when you really truly practice immersing yourself in these truths and taking action from it, taking action from that place, right?
Yes. And that you don't, when you're being aligned with a greater future, that you don't shut it down, that you remain open, really question that part of you that is shrinking, that is contracting, because you stay in the same box, you'll stay in the same mindset, you stay in the same, you will never stretch yourself. So thank you though. And you did nail it. That was a great answer, by the way. And I will say that one of the threads through this summit for people that are listening in the future, is that we've all realized that conscious awareness has to be practiced now much more frequently.
Yep.
Because it's like, is this real? Is this quantum? How would and asking things like, how would I collapse the field so I manifest this faster? Is that, but also just staying in alignment. So, and I think one of the things that we're all realizing is that it's more frequency of connecting with your awareness is needed now, because we made this, because it's like the planet is orbiting in a certain way and we've got to realign.
Yes.
So that's a beautiful thing. And money is a huge concern for people right now. And the mistake is to not see the value. So we see the cost of everything and the value of nothing.
Now you nailed it on the head. Yes.
I was thinking about that this morning. It's like, so we acquire, but what's the value and what's really precious?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
What is it? Yes. What's life-giving and life-expanding for me? What's life-giving and life-expanding? This pen is very tangible. It is very tangible, but it's life-expanding for me. It's life-giving and life-expanding because every time I use it, I get excited and I get joyful and I remind myself that I'm worthy, right? So if I
have to go to that store now.
Seriously, you're gonna love it. Oh my gosh. It's just, there's something magical about it. I love it.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. It's true. You're channeling the flow of energy changes when you speak of it also. It shows me how much you're supposed to write things like an author and teach things. And I think being attuned to what expands your field versus what contracts your field, though, would you say that the contraction is about staying safe?
Absolutely. 100. Yes. Yeah. If I, this is, I could talk, because I love talking about money money as a medium of our transformation, because I believe it's the last frontier. It is the most fear-imbued tool on the planet. I mean, everybody uses it. Everybody. It literally gives you access. So I loved somebody said it this morning. Oh yeah, you want to help the poor, you want to help the addicted, you want to help the homeless. Try doing it without money. Try doing it when you're broke. You can't. You need money.
Can't even understand. Absolutely, and it's the energy currency of the universe. It's been distorted. We know that in the distortion matrix, but it still is an energy form that's been
absolutely
distorted, I think. And so have you seen within this flip of consciousness, the quantum flip, we'll call it today for fun, within the quantum flip, is it that are you feeling that the ideas and the concepts around frequency exchange of money is what stops people's growth? Because you can't grow if you don't invest in yourself and in others around you. You just can't.
Right. So there is this beautiful aspect of that I will be teaching in the overflow, is that actually it is all about giving, right? Like it literally is all about giving, but it's giving from a very particular place that allows you to receive. There are all these fine ways to play with the whole frequency and the energy of who you are and how you give. And you don't have to give something you don't have. You could give of yourself from spirit. A smile from a genuine place is a generous act.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. It's an act of love.
Absolutely. And then if you do it and then you imbue it in a field of money. So I'm going to say this, but I say it very carefully because, again, some people will say, oh, you're talking about going into debt, the EBT. Well, debt is actually a learned pattern. You believe something, so it has to exist. I'm just going to leave it there. But if you create...
I like that. That raised a little question, I think.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
If we create from the quantum, that means we're creating from a potential and possibility, not from what's presently in my hand or my bank account, but potential and possibility. So when I first learned that, I said, oh, if I spend the money, money will come. No. If you invest the money and then take proper actions from a proper alignment space with a proper mindset, and you actually put something out into the world that has money flow to you, then you absolutely then are in the circle of give and receive, create and reap the benefits of it, right? Sow the seeds and reap. Then absolutely from that place you are creating from. When I invest, it comes back to me. And from that place, the more you invest, the more comes to you. And I've done this and I've seen this over and over. When one creates from, if I invest this money, more will come to me, but do it from a place of give to get. I'll do something for that result. You are creating from the old paradigm of lack and scarcity and tricking. There's like this trickster energy to it, right? Manipulation.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, that you saw the light bulb just going in my head. Yes.
I did.
Yes. And that has been going on in relationships between men and women for years.
Totally.
So, that's so brilliant. That's so brilliant.
Yeah.
I want to say that's brilliantly stated. And it creates an imbalance because it will never fulfill you.
Nope. It then creates this attachment and you feel like you owe something. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's so true. That is so true. It creates like a hook. And we're saying that the hooks don't really but it does. It's because what do? Keep doing that?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that could be the story of why a lot of marriages fall apart.
Yeah. And you owe something, and then it becomes reciprocal. And then no, I owe you. No, you owe me. And then all of a sudden you're both acting from, what are you going to give to me today? What are you going to do for me today? Versus a complete create from potential, right? Potential of what it is that we are both creating in a relationship. There is nothing you can give me that I can't give to myself, but I would love your love. Yes. Right? Yeah. So, and I would love you. And I can touch myself, but it feels better when you touch me. Right. So it's just very, very different. So with money, it's the same thing. And it took me a while to shift because I used to create that, right? Oh, the more I invest, the more will come in. And then I would be in like, how the heck do I pay that by month 2? But now I do it very differently. And it is a shift of perspective. It is really not just giving it a lip service, but believing in a quantum field of limitless potential in which you are the creator of what you desire. And by investing in something that is aligned with where you're going, what you are looking to the tools, the teachers, the coaches, the guides, right? Like beautiful people in your series. If you invest with somebody that feels like somebody who is here to support you at this time, and you do it from a place of this, again, potential of the future versus get me out of here, I'm scared. No, I believe I can create something with your support. Right? You see the difference even in my body as I say it.
And also that you have when someone has a knowledge, because they've invested, 10, 20, 30, 40 years of their life, you are receiving the wisdom of the knowledge.
Absolutely.
They have discerned it, broken it down, and you're receiving that. So it's so much, and that will expand your potential as long as you apply it. But and I feel there's a lot of confusion around that that you, and it's so interesting. I picked up this, is the glass half empty or is it half full? I didn't know why I was picking this up. But in the confusion, in sorting out this process of exchange in the universe, this is where I think people get stuck. Because have you been noticing that for some reason I hear that word from people, like I feel stuck in the middle, and it is that if it does seem as though if you're walking between two paradigms, it's like walking between two worlds. So, and it is, and the confusion is often around money or relationships. It does seem as though.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So how do we get them unstuck? How do we move the needle? How do we increase the joy here?
Yeah. Get around people who are playing in that space so they can give you permission. Because it's in a way, it's permission. It's like, the human part of ourselves wants to know we'll be okay. So if you can be in a community of people that like this community, like community of people that are believing and actually applying this and living this, then your nervous system says, okay, it's okay. I can actually jump over and be in this space and take a chance.
It's safe enough because because I can feel the resonance of these beings that we are integrating.
Yep.
I would agree. It is that, and with this shift, it does require the community. I've seen that we have to make the shift together, because otherwise it's like we're living on different planets or something. On one planet, there's this currency, and on the other planet, there's the other belief system. So I've been a little, we're in the middle of sort of sorting out this understanding of how to access ourselves as these unbelievably beautiful quantum creators. And then we have around us the people that are not waking up. And it almost seems right now as though never the twain shall meet. So, and it's been an issue, and I'm just hearing this right now, that this is a download, that many are caught in the middle, and that could even be related to the stuckness.
Yeah.
Where and it does seem as though the velocity of some people moving into the awakening and the creatorship, which is being offered very generously on planet Earth, I feel we're being handed a ticket in a sense. That how do we resolve the conflict that's how would you suggest the conflict that could start manifesting externally, even knowing it's a mirror? Because even most of us have all said we know it's a mirror,
right? Yep.
We know if we undo something inside of ourselves, but sometimes the outside is stubborn to shift.
Yeah.
And will shut you down if you allow it. And so I'm just wondering, so I guess I'm picking up on some members of the audience. This is going to be their concern, is that I do understand this. I'm swimming in this field, and my significant other is in complete resistance and wants me to just be home and make dinner and do the things we've always done together.
Yeah. That's what will happen. It's going to be with the ones closest to us, the loved ones, right? The ones that we have created a life with. So this is my personal answer. I definitely am discerning about who I spend my time with. I listen a lot more than I speak in many circles. There are many people in circles outside of where we speak to these concepts, to these truths, that have no idea that this is what I believe, this is how I live, right?
Okay.
And it's not because I withhold, but I learned along the way that I ask to be guided towards the people who are ready. And then they either become my clients, they come into my tribe, they'll ask me certain questions because they're curious, and then I can share with them how I see it. But it's not our job to convince people. It's not our job to change somebody's mind. We cannot even choose for them to let go of the fear. They have to do it themselves. And for many, it may mean this solution of relationships. And I don't say it lightly because I am in one and my partner is awake. No, I shouldn't say it because there isn't like more or less, but I definitely am a lot more immersed in these truths than he is. Right?
Yes.
So who knows, but there may come a day where we may have to part our ways. My parents aren't as aware about this field as I am. So I rarely talk to them about it. And I speak to them less and less. Doesn't mean I forget about them. And again, this is a choice everybody has right now. So one of the biggest things that I remind my clients especially is it's not your job to convince those who are committed to some way, which is the old way.
Which is the archaic element.
Right.
We won't judge it.
Right. We don't judge it. It's a choice.
Yes, it's a choice.
And it really isn't our job to convince them. All we have to do is be the beacon. So when somebody is ready, they know where to come.
That's true. That's very wise, actually.
And it's not easy in personal relationships. I get it. But that's part of the work that we are doing right now. And I wanted to say that's part of the conflict we are resolving. And it is part of the conflict we are resolving. And even facing, why did I get into this relationship? What, not from a place of beating yourself up or making yourself wrong, but are the standards, I love to talk about standards these days, are the standards that I am living based on right now, standards meaning certain agreements that I have with myself, what I am worthy of, what I am committed to, what I stand for. Are these standards that I am living based on right now, if I had them in place when I met this person, would I still have said yes to them? Probably not. Okay, so what gets to shift right now? Do I get to make new decisions, new choices? And very often it may mean yes. And I am not one to say relationships need to break up or you should leave this person because they don't believe the way you do. They may come along. Are you willing to be patient enough and be around them in a kind, loving way while they are coming along? And then one day, maybe all will be for naught because they want, and you'll have to go your own way.
That's a painful, for many, that's a painful decision. It's a loss. So, and it does seem to be something that is being highlighted almost. It's like something that we're seeing more frequently. And it's very challenging because you still, and I do want to emphasize, you still do love them. It doesn't mean leaving. It doesn't mean, because you can have a different worldview. It's important to understand that people are going to awaken and choose awakening or at different rates. And that's their soul speaking. I think where it gets difficulty is the resistance, or if there's some kind of desire on one of the parties to keep that person in a certain way. That's where.
But you know what?
What's that?
I'm going to flip that.
Okay, good. I like that.
Because let's go with that. You got into a relationship with somebody who was a certain way and you are a certain way. Now you are growing, you are awakening, and you're expecting them to come along. So it's the same game you both are playing, because they're expecting you to stay the way you are. You expecting them to come along on a journey. Mirror. There is the mirror.
That's the mirror. Yes, that's true. It's just the reverse side of that. And it's all fine. It's how you want to feel.
Yeah. What do you want to create? What is it, this vision that you are now allowing yourself to create for your life, that you are now saying, you know what? this is the kind of experience I want to have with my loved one, with my beloved, with my friends, with my work, with the people around me. This is the kind of community you want to be in, right? So way beyond this, do I deserve this? Am I worthy of it? Now allowing yourself to start breaking that apart, asking yourself questions. Not, did I choose this partner at the time because they fit my checkbox, my list, or we were politically aligned, and I come from it's not me, I'm just saying. I come from political family, and we are politically aligned, so it made sense. We had the same 5-year plan. Oh my God, soulmate. No, you just had the same 5-year plan. So for many people, there is a realization of, I chose it based on something. I'm no longer aligned with that. Am I going to keep this person a prisoner of my condemnation that they're not waking up? Or am I going to make the hard decision?
Good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. And I think there are many that are in this position, actually.
Yeah.
And, losing I lost my partner to a death, to a transition, not funny, but just recently. But the thing is that no matter what, there's going to be loss. So you have to realize that, because no matter how you lose someone, even if you choose to lose them, there will be some loss. So, and that's not always easy either. So, but there is, I think one of the things that's really key is not to judge yourself or another that you're with, or the rate or speed, because in the world of quantum, somebody could literally wake up the next morning and shift, and you may be influencing them on multiple dimensions and levels. So I think self-acceptance and acceptance of others can be one of the make things a little more harmonious. And as things begin to even heighten, because I do see that, I believe, even since we started this summit, there's a moving quickly, it's been speeding up even over the last, we started interviewing just a couple of weeks ago, but there's a pace and an alignment between the leaders on this summit that did not exist at the beginning. We're all almost like a very similar mindset. And I guess also seeing in our clientele and friends and family, some of the same challenges and difficulties. And I guess this is where we must look within and also be very kind and gentle with ourselves and others, because it is a confusing time for many. There are choices that have never been available, really.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Imagine if you one day woke up and you realize that you're not a human being, you're a piranha. Somebody just mislabeled you.
Exactly. Somebody mislabeled me. They just forgot to put on the right label. Yeah, exactly. And
all of a sudden you're like, oh, I live in the water. I'm supposed to live in the water. No wonder it was hard to breathe. Oh, okay. So it's these simple, silly ways of realizing what's going on. I mean, it's that drastic in our experience, right?
It really is. It's so funny because I'm now living on a lake, very close, so that doesn't even look like there's any land. It's like being on a boat, but it is really true. It's happening so suddenly that you can literally access new dimensions and new realities and wake up in a quite different perspective. So we want to give a lot of space and kindness to our nervous system also. And there's a question too, is that how do you find your own nervous system? Are you actually living in the city or on the outskirts of the city?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit, technically it's part of the city. Like we have alternative street parking. I have to move my car if it's on a street, but it's a suburb. I mean, I live a block away from a lake that when I walk to, I see the mountain ridge. So, and it's, one family houses. So it's really like a suburb around where I live. Yeah. So it's not in the center of the Denver. And so one thing that I am learning for myself is my nervous system. I used to live in Manhattan, so I know part of the reason.
I didn't know. I didn't. Okay. Yeah.
So I know part of the reason that I moved was because there was this constant bombardment of energy, and I couldn't wait. I actually was very lucky. My last apartment, most of the places I lived in were very quiet. The last apartment I lived in, my bedroom was facing a courtyard. So all the street noise was completely, and I was on a 5th floor. So I did not experience the street noise when I went to my bedroom, like completely almost like a cave. There was a window, but it felt like a cave secluded from the rest of the world. And I remember wanting to really spend most of my time there when I was at home. And that's when I said, all right, I gotta go, somewhere where there was more nature. So I can give my nervous system space. But, there is not giving yourself solid space for solitude, being in nature. I went to a sound bath in a salt cave yesterday.
Oh,
that was
nice.
So delightful.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds very nurturing.
Yeah, very. But in the moments when I don't have space to do that, let's say it's middle of the day and I have a schedule and I'm serving my clients and I'm creating something, I'm recording interviews like this delightful one with you. And I can sense something, either I read something or maybe it's just, I am just like all of us, I am sensitive to things. So if my neighbor is in a bad mood, I don't even know why, it might rattle me. I mean, literally, right? Like it's not, right?
I know, I suffer from that same disease. Yes, the high sensitivity disease.
Yes.
Well, it's not a disease. That's the wrong word. The high sensitivity person and
condition. I don't know.
I know, and not something we're proud of, or just something we're living through. But yes, a refined nervous system. And do you feel sometimes you know where it comes from, and sometimes you don't?
Absolutely. Most of the time, I really don't. So what I do is, and this is a practical thing that actually I'm going to give it to as a gift to the audience.
Thank you. I'm sure you'll appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say it. Thank you again. That they will appreciate this. What you're going to say. Yes.
Yep. So there is a prayer that is called a prayer, but it's not like a prayer that's religious based. It is a string of words that centers me. And because I've been using it for a very long time, as soon as I say it, my nervous system comes down and directs my attention. So it's very quick. It's literally 2 paragraphs. I say it. I have another one that's just like, I call in Angel Michael, and I call Angel Michael from all 4 directions. And because I've been doing it long enough, so this is the caveat here, because I've been doing it long enough, it is a signal to my nervous system to center and that it's safe. So I will give to the ones that I use. They're already imbued with my energy. And because I use it on a regular basis, it comes with a frequency that if you allow yourself to, you can enter into. So when you read it or listen to it, because I have written and recorded version, I'll give to both. It may be that's the thing that you'll do for yourself when you can't walk away into the woods and you are in the middle of something and you feel your nervous system not settled and it's taking you off your focus of creating what it is you want. And all of a sudden it spirals into other things like doubt and more fear and negative self-talk, bringing yourself back to, I am here for a purpose. And it is a particular prayer, right? So it says like, use me, and it does use word God. You can insert universe, source, whatever you want, divine, but it says, use me. I am here for purpose. And it really is beautiful. So when I say that, it calms my nervous system immediately. And I center and I come back and I can say, okay, what is it that I'm up to right now? Oh, that's right. I am creating this offer, or I'm writing this program, or I'm about to step in to serve my client. It's something that we really get to have these little ways to remind us what is true. Not this chaos. This chaos isn't true, right? What is true is our connection to the divine. We are the sovereign creators. We are choosing moment by moment our experience. Even if reality in the physical looks like something, I still choose my relationship with it. That's my experience.
I love that. Yes, it's a way to find that center and peace again. Thank you. We will really appreciate that. And these micro habits are what keeps us aligned.
Right? Yeah,
absolutely. And it's I saw that I saw something on your site this morning. I was looking, Yes, that's a beautiful gift. Thank you. We appreciate. And the fact that you've imbued it with your energy is a great gift to all of us, because you are a beautiful being. And I'm looking forward to meeting you.
Thank you, Helena. I'm so excited.
Yes. And I want to thank you. Is there anything else you want? We went everywhere and it's so delightful.
So great.
But as quantum creators, that is part of it. We don't always know where we're going to go. Like, I used to have formulas and send out questions, but I find that is kind of outdated now. It's good to have some structure, but it's most important that it just be an open-hearted exchange. As what's important, I think, for the audience to know is that as leaders and teachers and coaches and therapists, and we are just sorting it out too. And it's moving faster than it ever moved. And part of it is the audience gives us the feedback on multiple levels and dimensions, so we can guide you towards your truth as a creator. But I want to thank you, because this was a journey, and I love what you're doing. And I love the energy that you are emitting into the quantum field. It's a beautiful energy. You're a beautiful female role model. Thank you, Anna, for being with us today. And the ways to contact Anna are all in the links below, as well as her beautiful gifts. And you're a very, very special, unique being in my life. So I want to thank you. You're beautiful.
Thank you, Helena.